Well, hello everybody, wherever you are around the world. I want to welcome you to European Cricket Studio live on a Thursday night, and it's time for the Maximo chat. Hopefully you've been watching so far this week. We have shows every day at the moment, Monday to Thursday, 5 p.m. So this time in Central Europe every day. We've had some great guests, and today is all about you guys. We've got some fantastic guests, starting with my guest on Tuesday for Maximo show, Eugene Moleon. So what we want today, guys, is for you to interact with us, for you to put some comments, put some questions in as well. You can either use the question bar or you can just write stuff in the comments. We want this to be a conversation just not between me and my guest, but between all of us here as part of the community. So thanks for joining us wherever you're watching around the world. Well, my first guest tonight joined us on Tuesday, and originally South African. He competed for Sandhu, who were the Danish representatives in the first edition of the ECL last year. And I'd like to welcome him back to answer a couple of questions from our viewers. Please welcome Eugene Moleon, the Flying Bus.
Hi there, Vinny. How are you?
I'm really well, Eugene. How are you? And how's the last couple of days been?
It's been good. Weather has been great in Ireland, so can't complain. But yeah, no, looking forward to it. Hope everybody else is listening as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you say the weather's good in Ireland. I mean, that's something to be thankful for. Isn't it a bit ironic that so many places around the world seem to be getting really great weather, but no one's allowed outside at the moment? So that's pretty frustrating, isn't it? Excellent. So
there was an article in the newspaper there this week talking about how great the weather was.
Yeah, it's quite amusing, isn't it? Now, I already see we've got a few comments coming in, and we get this all the time actually in European Cricket League. People want to know how they can play in the ECL. Now, I can tell you at the moment there's an Instagram video. You can check it out after the show if you like. It tells you exactly what you need to do to play in the ECL, and I'm sure we'll also have all the information at our website, www.ecn.cricket. So it's very simple how you can get involved and ultimately find yourself in the ECL, just like Eugene here. So Eugene, if you don't mind, we had a great chat with you and learnt quite a bit about you on Tuesday, but we've had a couple of questions come in. So do you mind answering a few questions from our viewers?
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
All right. So this is one actually that came from a gentleman in Denmark. He followed your progress with Sandhu last year. This is from John from Copenhagen, and he wanted to know, do you regret giving up athletics so suddenly? Because we found out the other night that you actually were very, very talented on the track and actually once ran 100 meters in 10.22 seconds. So what do you think, Eugene?
Yeah, I don't go about having regrets or anything like that. I think at the time, the thing that I wanted to do was become a professional athlete, and that sort of stemmed me playing cricket. So that opportunity came a little bit better for me playing cricket than what it was doing athletics. I didn't really have coaches or anything like that. So growing up, I really didn't have that sort of background in the professionalism about athletics. So yeah, it would have been interesting to see where I would have gone to. But yeah, no, there's no regrets. Loved my athletics career, loved my cricket career even better. So yeah, things turn out that way in life.
Yeah, and look, you can be very proud of what you achieved in cricket. We talked the other night about some of the wickets you got. I mean, people couldn't stop talking about it. I've had so many messages that they couldn't believe you got out Gilchrist and Hayden and Andy Bippel, I think it was, just prior to the 2003 World Cup. So you were talking about the experience after the game, getting those guys out. And could you expand on that a little bit and what you learned from how they approached the game at that very, very top level?
Yeah, I think Australia at the time was one of the leading nations in terms of cricket. I think they won it a few times going into that as well. And there certainly was a forefront in terms of Test cricket coming through the 90s as well, leading into the early part of the 2000s. And the way they went about it, the planning, just the way the enjoyment of the game and that the relaxing atmosphere that they had in the dressing room was something that I sort of picked up, but they were just doing things that they were comfortable doing. They didn't try and reinvent the wheel, as I say, but they just went about doing what they do best, and everybody knew their role in the team. but they were keen to give encouragement to the next. So when we were sitting there as youngsters, they were keen to give that encouragement to us.
Yeah, and do you find now in your work as a coach, what's your attitude towards collectivism and people in the team following certain rules? And we remember in the Australian setup, like often Shane Warne didn't want to do certain things the whole team was doing, particularly if they involved long walks in the bush or giving up the cigarettes. Yeah. But how do you balance that, wanting to come together as a team and do things as a group versus managing the individuality of your players to get the best out of them?
Yeah, I think as a group, I think there has to be discussion as to what you can do as a group and what's allowed and what's not allowed. With certain individuals, yes, you can explore that with more questions and sort of more one-to-one basis and on that regard. But as a group collective, I like to bring the team in to make these decisions, and hopefully from there, everybody buys into that, because it's not just me as a coach, it's everybody else, and the players are very important for that.
Yeah, and that's something we've seen in the modern day, and even probably over the span of your career. The trend has been towards understanding that players are different in the way they like to prepare, and perhaps not forcing players into doing what worked for you as a player, but working out what's going to get the best out of them.
Yeah, it's important that the players are important, and as a coach, you need to find out what works for them, how to get the best out of them, as you've mentioned there. And that's one of the key things for me as a coach to remember. It's not about me, it's not about what I did, it's not about how I played the game, and it's about these individuals that we come across now, that we need to find out what makes them tick, so to speak, and how for them to go about their business and get that enjoyment factor, getting them relaxed to do what they need to do on the field.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it, to understand what your point of view is as a former player, especially playing so recently. And I'm sure you bring a wealth of experience to your current role, which is in Ireland. But I did actually see you the last time in South Africa about 6 months ago, where I was playing. And tell us a little bit about what you were doing back in South Africa over the southern summer and the role you had there.
Yeah, so I'm head coach of the University of Cape Town, the cricket team there. What we do is we take part in the Varsity Cup, which is a T20 competition in South Africa for all the top universities, the top 8 universities. And then we go to the USO Week, which is a 50-over competition as well. But we also play in the local league. So we're currently in the Premier League. I'm not sure about that. It goes for review again now. But we play against the club sides as well, which are the good sides in Cape Town. We a little bit hampered by, obviously, with varsities and stuff, varsity studies and other things as well. So, but it's enjoyment for me to go into an environment like that, and just to try and bring out the best in youngsters.
And it must be great to go back to where you grew up. But then also you told us about your work the other night briefly for Estonians in Ireland. Yeah. And you said that was something that's actually organised by the ECB, which is the England and Wales Cricket Board. So you could just perhaps tell us a little bit more about how you ended up in Ireland and the work you do there.
Yeah, so I came over as a cricket professional. So I played for Estonians, and I've always played for Estonians since I've been here. And it's been really good being involved with a really good club, big junior section in terms of Irish cricket. And then I ended up staying here, and then I always wanted to give back, and this opportunity that came back to me was, would you want to be a tutor? And there were no tutors at the time in Ireland, or there were only a few, Andy McRae being one of them. So I saw that as another avenue to try and get back into cricket. So we went on the course, and we deliver programs within the Irish sector here. So it's fun delivering these programs, and always it's a way of giving back as well, and I'm always there to help our coaches where best can.
Well, we'd love to hear about the way you've given back in various ways. You talked a little bit about your work with Reverse the Trend, which is trying to give youth, current youth, opportunities, not just through sport, but just generally to make better lives for themselves.
Yeah, so the Reverse the Trend is a program that we sort of designed. The program itself within that is called Neuronimo, which looks at the neuroscience of kids and stuff like that. Basically how the brain works and how kids can best react to certain things that happen in life. So that's one of the things that has interested me about the program. Like I said the last time, it's geared towards kids from 4 to 16. And it's an exciting prospect for us all, you know, to go through, and hopefully we can do that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And look, we've got a few questions coming in, and guys, keep them coming in the comments. I do see one from our guest a couple of weeks ago, Pavel Florin, and he says, Eugene, you remember on ECL 19, he offered you a bodyguard contract. He's still waiting for an answer. Now, Eugene, you don't strike me as the kind of guy that needs a bodyguard, but what do you think about Pavel's offer to be your bodyguard?
If Pavel's up for the job, he can have it. I don't like using my arms and swinging and sorting other people out. I'll gladly let him sort them out for me.
Yes, well, you know, Pavel, he's got multiple talents, and we know that. I just hope that he's a bit more accurate when he's swinging his arms than he is when he's swinging the bat, that's for sure. Now, we're always getting these comments, and like I said at the top of the show, welcome to Jitesh Variani. He's asking, how can he join a club? And he's from Spain. He's from Las Palmas. So, Jitesh, welcome to you. Now, every country, definitely every country that's involved in the ECL has a National Cricket Association or federation. You need to just get in touch with the relevant federation, find out a club in your area, the closest one to you, and get in touch with them, because the more people playing cricket in Europe, the better. So if you're already in Europe, of course, that's a big step on the way to playing ECL and joining a club in your country and winning the league. So welcome to you, Jitesh, and there'll be more information in the Instagram post, which you can look at after this show. Now, we also had another question for you from Harris, Eugene, and he wants to know, what speed did you bowl at your peak?
I always get, this is one of the questions I always tend to get. When I started out, I could get it down. We deal with kilometers in South Africa, so it was around between 135 and 140 Ks, I would say. There was one time I went above that, but I'm not sure if the gun was working. So it was in a quarterfinal of the old Benson and Hedges or Standard Bank, as we call it back home. So I'm not sure how accurate that was. But then I did my shoulder, and sort of the pace sort of went, and then you just have to be more accurate. So yeah, at my peak, I probably got it up to between 135 and 140 on a regular occurrence.
Right. Well, actually, funny, we had Jason Berendorf on last week, who's a former teammate of mine, and he typically bowls in the 130s, occasionally might bowl 140 or the low 140s, but he says that one ball in Adelaide once was clocked at 150, and he said it was almost certain it was a mistake. But I guess, like with these speed guns, we always just take for granted they're accurate. But even if they're accurate 99% of the time, that means once every 100 balls, it might register something ridiculous. And then now Jason Forever is telling me he can bowl 150 Ks an hour. And I kept up to him once, so I can say I kept up to a bowler that bowls 150 kilometers an hour. But it's funny, isn't it? So it sounds like you got lucky once with the gun, and you can just ride on it forever.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning it. I'm not going to mention it, so because I'm not 100% sure how accurate it was. But when I went up on the scoreboard as well. So I was quite chuffed with that. But the next ball got hit for 4, so I wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, well, I guess the result's what matters. Sometimes it flies fast off the bat. But I mean, what you're talking about with your shoulder injury and other bowlers of a similar type, as they get older, sometimes they're forced to learn to bowl with a bit more control and trying to do things with the ball. Because I've talked to so many bowlers who've said, I've spent my whole life trying to bowl fast, and now I have to bowl slow balls every ball. So I think developing your craft is probably, for young players, a lot more important than trying to bowl flat as fast as you can.
I think what helped my career in that sense was I played my life for most of my cricket in Cape Town, and then I got a contract up at the Northwest Dragons. And those that have played there, Potterstrom is one of the flattest wickets you ever wish to get. Good one-day strip. So your margin of error is not great there. So it's basically taught me how to be a bit more accurate, how to be a bit more variable with your bowling and stuff like that. And it was a good learning curve for me going on wickets like that at a time. And like I said, we played Australia there, which was great. So I mean, Australia at the time had really good batters that put bad balls away for fun. Like so, even during that game, it was good. So I mean, playing in conditions like that really is a steep learning curve for everybody.
Yeah, sure. Now, we know people are watching not only from Europe, but all around the world. We have Kyle P01. He says, Eugene, miss you in Cape Town. When the world opens, we need to play golf. Now, what sort of a golfer are you, Eugene? Because I think cricketers typically fall into two categories with golfers, good or bad. There's not much in between. And which camp are you in?
In between. I'm in between. I'll definitely go with in between. I'm sort of good off the tee. Well, if I don't use the drive. If the driver's on song, then I'm a different player. Good with my irons. The bit I'm struggling with is my short game. So during this lockdown period, I've been doing a lot of chipping in the back garden and stuff like that, just to try and get a feel for it. But yeah, if you ask Herschel about that, he'll probably give you a different story. Like he sort of has a go at me for recovering from behind trees and making birdies from somewhere else and stuff like that. So no, I do enjoy my golf, and there's a good bunch of lads back home that I really do enjoy my golf with, and it's really good just to get out. It gets me away from cricket.
Yeah, well, sometimes you need that kind of alternative outlet from cricket, just when you need to change things up a little bit. Now, we've got a question that has come in from Storm Clark 07, and welcome, Storm. Thanks for joining us on the European Cricket Studio. He wants to know, how would you compare the competitiveness of ECL to Varsity Cup cricket?
Oh, that's a good question. T20 cricket, Varsity Cup is of a good standard. Tucky's University, which is in Pretoria, Marty's, which is Stellenbosch, University of Johannesburg. We've got a range of top universities that are really good, playing high level, and even within these universities there are serious pros in them, whether they play in the franchise system or whether they play one tier down, which is in the amateur cricket. So the standard is of a very, very high standard, I would say, in terms of Varsity Cup. It's difficult to say for me to say what the standard would be like comparing it to the ECL, but what I've experienced last year with the Varsity Cup, it was of a really high standard. And the boys, there's so much at stake for these guys at universities now, and for them to showcase and really put a performance together on that stage is vital for them. So I would say the Varsity Cup would be of a good standard, just maybe slightly higher or better than what the ECL was, with all due respect to the ECL, but the standard was really good.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. Sometimes it's difficult comparing standards, because sometimes you'll have perhaps some better players and some perhaps not so skilled players in one league, but the average standard might be slightly worse, and another league might have more consistent players, but they perhaps don't have the 2 or 3 elite players. So it's a very difficult question. I think you answered it very well.
Yeah,
there's one more question for you, Eugene. Go ahead.
You also got to remember, these varsities, they train 3-4 hours a day, 3-4 times a week. The guys at the ECL, the teams are sometimes they just train twice during the week. So the amount of training and stuff that the guys do is totally different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's super interesting insights with your experiences with both competitions. I have one more question for you, Eugene, and this came in from Asif, who all the way from India, and he says, "We know you as the Flying Bus, but have you had any previous nicknames?" Still
yeah.
Keep it clean if you can.
Well, I played in the Yorkshire League at the time. I think it was in '99, and one of my best mates, Ashwell Prince, he played in the Lancashire League. So every time I would go, and we would see a lot of time. But one of the times that I went to see him, we played in this game at Torrizome, actually, Torrizome Cricket Club. Can't believe I remember that. But they sort of had to write down nicknames on team sheets for this game. And Ashwell's nickname was Short Cat, and mine was Long Dogovich, which ended up being just Long Dog, which ended up just being shortened for dog. So everybody is still calling me the dog till now. So that has stuck. I had a few other nicknames, and when I was doing athletics. When I made the province team, sort of Spider was one of them. So I've had a few, but the one that has stuck is the dog now. So That's me.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you're definitely a tenacious performer on the field. And thanks so much, guys, for your questions. And Eugene, you've been such a fantastic guest on the show this week. If you want to log on to the website, ecn.cricket, I'll have my 6 takeaways from the show and just picking out the favourite bits and the favourite things I learned about Eugene Moleon, our guest this week. But Eugene, I want to thank you again, and we'll say goodbye to you and hopefully see you again on the show soon.
No, thanks very much. Thanks for having me on. It's a great show. I've been watching it and following it, and it's really good to see all the guys come in. And just before I go, happy birthday, Vin. Have a good day, pal.
Thanks very much, Eugene. You spilt it, but it is my birthday today. But I do appreciate it, Eugene. I've been so happy to get happy birthday messages from all around the world, and I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
I count you as a friend, and we hope to see you back in European cricket and at the European Cricket League when we resume next year. So thanks very much, Eugene, and see you later.
No problem. See you then. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So Eugene Moleon, what a character. It was so great having Eugene on the show, and so many people were excited to see him. And we learned so much about him on Tuesday, didn't we? Getting the wickets of those elite Australian players and his first-class cricket background and his coaching experience and work outside cricket. So it was really great to have Eugene on. Now it's time for another guest. So what we're doing at the moment with these chats is we've got different guests on, and our next guest is actually from Cluj Cricket Club. And a lot of people, when they think of Cluj Cricket Club, they go straight to Pavel Florin. But my next guest on the show is the captain of Cluj, and he captained them in ECL 19 last year. So please welcome from Cluj, it's Arun Chandrasekaran. And just a reminder before Arun comes on, the weekly quiz, open Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We'll come back to that in a second. But welcome, Arun. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Vinny. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Oh, I've got such nice guests, don't I? It is my birthday, and I appreciate it. And now I've got another shout out from Romania. But we're not here to talk about me today, Arun. I want to talk about you. And of course, we met at ECL 19 last year. And tell us a little bit about the ECL. What was that experience like for you as captain of the Cluj team?
It's a tremendous opportunity for us as a Cluj Cricket Club coming from Romania. Number one, because of ECL, now more people come to know what is Cluj, what is the city of Cluj, and which is the country Romania. The exposure to the team and the city as well as to the country become better. Number one, and then the whole organization and get to meet the players and such a competitive level of league we never been part of before. These are the greatest experience we have had.
Yeah, and we saw your improvement actually during the tournament. I loved watching some of your players. In fact, there's so much talent in your team. You had Taranjeet Singh opening the batting, and he was unlucky not to go on and make a really big score. Vasu Saini and all these players, which I think, assuming you can make it back to the European Cricket League again next year, I think that we'll see a big improvement in your performance. But what were some specific things that you learned from the other teams through playing against them in the European Cricket League?
First of all, the format itself, T10, is something new for us. We've never been. It's very quick. It's much quicker than T20. You have no room whatsoever to even think about what mistake you made, and then you to catch up, number one. And then players like Peter Sealer and Maxwell and Spotty, who's just sweeping. And actually, couple of us went to him, the wicketkeeper of Rotterdam, VOC. We went to him to ask, how can you manage to sweep even the fastest bowlers? It's a good lesson, let's say. It was a good learning from him. He said every day, when he was in Australia the previous summer, he was doing only sweeping coaching and learning the sweeping day in, day out, like hours. So that's how he's so that he could judge the ball much earlier, irrespective of where it is being pitched, that he knows. So that's those kind of exposure and learning from the players. And on top of that, such a big profile players, and the way they conduct themselves on and off the field, and very open to talk to us and give some advice and so on. Actually, we had a much better plan early this summer that a couple of you guys wanted to visit Cluj, not to play cricket, but to have a fun. But due to COVID, that we couldn't make, didn't materialize. But those are the things. We made a lot of friends. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, we certainly love watching you. And geez, there were some great moments. I mean, I'll never forget poor Vasu Saini dropping the catch off Pavel. That would have given him a wicket in that game. And I've actually got some really great footage of you in a second. I was wondering, obviously Pavel being the native-born Romanian, he gets a lot of the attention and has drawn so much attention to your cricket team. But tell us a couple of stories, or for example, like who's the funniest person in your team? Who's the real character in your team that we don't know about?
The character must go to Iftikhar Ahmed, who supposed to be joining us this year as a coach. Who should be, because he was part of the founding of Cluj Cricket Club, one of the members who still continue to play. And he has a sense of humor, and also whenever there is a new players on board, because we have a lot of students, we just finished and goes and new students comes in, the way he makes them comfortable, but in a very, he started to make funny things with them that makes them so comfortable to be part of the group, which is so important, because we as a club is not a group of players, it's a group of individuals who enjoy each other's company. That's why where we are today.
Yeah, and I remember actually you guys had an expression in your team. You said, we're Cluj Cricket Club. We don't always win the games, but we always win the hearts. Now, I remember you saying that before the tournament. And geez, wasn't it true? Because we were really going for you. I know so many people in Australia, where I'm from originally, were going, come on, Cluj, can get across the line. And you had a couple of close calls, and the game against Brescia in the final playoff was pretty close, but you just weren't able to get a win in last year's tournament. Now, this year you were meant to play against the Moscow Foxes. What do you think your chances would be against the Russian team?
We had a better preparation this year. Honestly speaking, we started working hard since winter. November, December also, we had a couple of new players who joined. Probably you might have noticed in the squad list. It's a fresh and young team. We prepared ourselves, and also we started to simulate more about the high intensity game, which is nothing but T10, and prepared ourselves from fitness perspective. And also we had internally planned a T10, couple of T10 tournaments before ECL. So as soon as the lockdown is over here, we're going to start, hopefully. We're going to get into the field. First of all, that's so important. Getting into the field itself, it's a big thing to our ground. And then to start playing some cricket, especially T10.
We'd all love to see some cricket out in the middle sooner rather than later, but at the moment, that's in the lap of the gods. So I just want to talk a little bit about your home ground. Now, I say home ground, but it is around 500 kilometres away from Cluj, so it's one of the longer trips to a home ground. But this is the Moara Vlasia ground just north of Bucharest, and it's a beautiful cricket ground. Can you tell us a little bit more about it, and why is there such a beautiful cricket ground in Romania, for example?
Yeah, I think I would say even very proudly in Eastern Europe and majority of Europe, it's one of the beautiful grounds we have. And it was a dream of a few individuals who started. If you look, I don't have the before picture before the ground has been grounded. It was completely a field which is not quite even. It was a big project, and almost close to 2 million euros has been invested by a few individuals to get this ground who are very passionate about the game. And it's a long project. People from UK and Australia came over to help us to lay the ground itself and then the wickets. And to say that one of the best drainage system we got, probably in Europe, I think. As soon as the rain is over, in 15-20 minutes, you can get in without even wiping and stuff like this. And the dimensions are quite big enough. If somebody can clear the outfield there, can clear easily in ECL, I would say. And then also stump mics and electricity system around the ground is unbelievable. And it's just emotion to get into this field.
Yeah, well, it has that kind of feel, doesn't it? And it's probably worth the drive, 500 kilometres. I remember seeing some of the international action in the Continental Cup earlier in the year, seeing some players from your Cluj team representing Romania and having great success there. And so, yeah, I'd really love one day to be able to visit the ground in person. Now, actually, it seems to me like a perfect place to play a Dream 11 European cricket series, really. I bet you'd be pretty excited at the prospect of the European cricket Dream 11 European cricket series, visiting Romania and perhaps playing that tournament in front of the whole world.
Yeah, we have planned ECN towards the end of the summer. Hopefully, as soon as the lockdown is over, we will see the progress with the plans. But we have already laid down the clubs who is going to be part of the ECN, and there are a lot of competitiveness inside the Cricket Romania. I would say the clubs part of Cricket Romania. Two reasons. One, first of all, ECL, which made the quality of the cricket better, more competitiveness, because every club would like to be part of the ECL, right? Two, ECN gives us a platform. Even if some clubs who couldn't come to ECL, but they can be part of EC and the series which they could play. So that's why everybody is interested and everybody would like to host the tournament even. So it's just since ECL came, there are a few things what I could lay down previously. We had a situation, you have to call the players, say there is a tournament tomorrow. We have to drive overnight. Can you please be on time? You need to go there and pick them up and so on and so forth. Now, you know what is the case? There are more players than what we need for a squad who would like to come, and they make themselves available just on the time in the ground.
Well, that's exactly what we want to hear, and that's exactly what the ECL is about. And of course, now the Dream 11 European Cricket Series is about these satellite tournaments hosted in European countries that are streamed all around the world, supported by Dream 11, and we appreciate their support to make it possible. And we're working so hard to find a way to bring those tournaments back as soon as it's safe to do so. So if you're in a continental country in Europe and you're interested in having some cricket, make sure you get in touch. All you need is a ground and a reliable internet connection, and we can make them happen. They're fantastic competitions. Now, Arun, I have to say something to you, my friend. I respect you as a leader of men, and I've seen how supportive you were, particularly to Pavel while that was going on, but also to your other players. So as a captain, I give you full marks, okay? But there's something else I want to talk to you about as a player, okay? Now, I have some footage here of you playing in the game against Brescia, and you're running between the wickets. If I had to put it in a word, I would say crazy. You were taking some runs that I just thought were crazy, but you got away with it a couple of times. I'm going to show you a couple of things here. Arun, this is you at the non-striker's end, and it looks like Sapir Gill. Now, look, it's just a single. That's you running here. Now, you've run all the way past the wickets, but then there's a slight fumble, so you think you're going to take another one, and should have been run out by half a pitch, but poor Sidtul Mirza, who had a day probably to forget with the gloves, has botched it. So how do you rate yourself as running between the wickets? What was going on with that?
Absolutely not up to the standard, and even I would say when you asked me the funniest player in your team, I wanted to say that to whom you are speaking to is the funniest player. That's how my team tell me. So these are few incidents what you can see. No excuses, but I was a little bit heavy then, so it was very difficult for me to stop myself when so it just took me more, right?
Oh, you were fine. You were about halfway down the pitch when the ball came back past you. So there was that incident. And now about 2 balls later, we actually have you to thank, because this is just a couple of balls later. Again, you're at the non-strikers end. Zahid Cheema's the bowler. And again, you're quite quick deciding to come back for 2. And you're taking on the arm, but then this time, middle stump out of the ground. So you didn't quite make it, but it was very unselfish of you to take those runs. And because of that, Pavel got to come on the field and then play his ridiculous reverse, whatever that was, which is a memory that we won't forget. So really, again, as a captain, it wasn't about you, it was about what's best for the team.
It's about always the same. Again, I don't want to keep the situation as such that it's any individual who is the club, but I said 500 kilometers of driving, one individual will not be able to make the team. It should be at least 11 individuals who needs to drive and get to there. So it's the team who is doing everything. Imagine if the other 10 people cannot make it, you don't have a team, right? So it's about the people, and everybody is passionate about the game, and we always look after their safety to get there in the time and get back to the home in time. So it's about people and individuals. Yeah. It's all about.
Well, I loved watching you play, Arun, in last year's tournament. And I have my own opinions about if I'd driven 500 kilometers to a game to get run out by you. But you know what? You're such a nice guy. I couldn't stay mad at you for very long. So look, it's been great having you on the show. Thanks for joining us. And we'd love to have some of your Cluj teammates back on the show in the future. But for now, Arun, thanks, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much. You are on purple today. Yeah?
Yeah, that's it. Well, no coincidence. See you, Arun. See you later, buddy. Arun Chandrasekaran, what a character as well. And yeah, I mean, obviously Pavel with his very interesting story got a lot of attention put onto the Cluj Cricket Club, but it's so great to meet some of the other players that perhaps we don't know as well. Just while we're here, I'm just going to talk about the ECN.Cricket weekly quiz, now supported by Painter, and thanks to them for putting up a great prize of cricket shoes every week. It's open Friday, Saturday and Sunday. It opens 6 a.m. on Friday, and it's open all the way to 6 p.m. on Sunday, Central European time. All you have to do is answer 6 questions. and you could be winning those fantastic shoes. Alex from Hampshire won last week, and he was proud as punch. He gets those new cricket shoes from Painter. So thank you to Painter. And now we're coming up to our third and final guest. Now, I know this man very well from sitting next to him in the commentary box during ECL 19, and he's coming all the way from Germany. And so I'm just going to invite him into the chat now. He's a very good looking guy as well. So try not to be distracted and trying to listen to what he says as we bring in Philipp Bächstädt. Welcome, Phil.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me on the show, man.
Oh, look,
Vinny,
it's a pleasure.
I've listened to this only for a few minutes, and what I'm missing is actually I would love to give you a little birthday present because I know it's your birthday today. So happy birthday! And I know you've been here before, and so that's why I picked up. I picked this location to do the interview.
Oh, that's beautiful. Is that Tegernsee?
That is Tegernsee, where my cricket club is based. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to see this wonderful landscape once again for your birthday. Happy birthday! And I would love to sing, but nobody would like to hear it.
Well, that's a lie, because I heard you singing on your TV show just before Christmas. So, but anyway, look, it's all good. Phil, you're a very talented musician yourself. Yeah, you're right. So we spent a bit of time together in Germany the week after ECL finished last year, and I really valued that time getting to know you very well, and actually getting to know you and what you do kind of as a profession back in Germany. And you've actually got a lot of TV experience. And this is some of your work for Rhein-Main TV. And tell us a little bit about what you do in the media in Germany.
Yeah, I'm a TV presenter for one of the main channels here. It's called RTL, which is Europe's biggest broadcasting channel, and I'm basically the news anchor for Bavaria. I also do Rhein-Main TV, which is in the Frankfurt area. So I'm actually pretty much doing regional news. But if you present on 2 or 3 regional stations, then you also get to people also know you. But what interests me more is what have you done for your birthday? Because I mean, you've been on this show now, and you're working on your birthday. But have you done anything special today?
Oh, well, thanks for asking. Yeah, I had a pretty low key birthday. Now, one of the cool things at the moment is because of lockdown, you can kind of sleep whenever you like and be awake whenever you like. So I try to be awake for when the show's on. So I find that's a little tip that you taught me actually as a professional TV presenter. But yeah, I actually had a pretty cool day. I was, this is me this afternoon. Now, I wouldn't say I'm much of a cook, so I bought a couple of pieces of carrot cake and just put some M&Ms all around it and stuck a few candles in it. And then my 2 beautiful children there, Zach and Audrey, who were happy enough to share that with me. So I enjoyed my birthday. But you know, Phil, you know, sometimes on your birthday, and I know you're not quite as old as me, you start thinking about, have I aged? Do I look the same? You know, and hopefully I haven't aged too badly despite some of my life choices at some points. But I dug this photo up, and I know you haven't seen this, Phil. This is actually me playing in 2002. And do you think that looks exactly like me? Because I can't, if you can just do a quick comparison, what do you think? It looks like twins, right?
What's really bothering me is actually, I mean, yeah, you almost look the same. But what's really bothering me is your beard. Could you do yourself a big favor? Your little funny mustache there underneath your lip. Could you do yourself a little big favor and maybe just get rid of this for your birthday?
Oh, well, I don't know if you've been watching the show, Phil, but this is my Corona patch. So I've been doing it while we've been in lockdown. But you know what? I get so much mail from this show from people, and even more than what I get in questions, I get people saying I need to shave off my Corona patch because I look ridiculous. So you people, you know who you are, and they never want me to call them out on air either. They always want to like don't put that up, don't name me. But there's a lot of people, so I'm going to think about it. But before we get to my Corona patch, I'm sure we have some more interesting things to talk about, such as how you got involved in cricket in the first place, because I know that so many people enjoyed hearing your German accent describing the action in La Manga last year. So how did you get involved in cricket?
Well, basically, a few hundred yards from here, you can see these towers there, the church over there. That's where my school is, the Gymnasium Tegernsee. And there was a teacher here who was a PE teacher and English teacher, and he went to Manchester Grammar School to do an exchange program there, and he met the guys like Graham Thorpe and I don't remember all of them, but Atherton as well, and these guys inspired him to start picking up a bat. And what he did is he bought himself a book, a textbook, and he taught himself in front of a mirror. So
wow.
I'm actually very grateful to Wolfgang Albert, who's done a fantastic job here in Tegernsee and who's taught German kids how to play cricket, basically just because he needed players to play with. That was his only intention in the first place. And then we started to be in under 15 national teams, under 17 national teams. I was captain of the under 19 national team. I won the European Championships with the national team. Obviously the B Championships without England, Ireland, Scotland participating, but still we did win the European Championships there, and then I got the silver medal of the city of Tegernsee in 2001 because of captaining the team. So this place now definitely does have a big history of cricket, and Tegernsee is one of the German hotspots of cricket in Europe.
Yeah, and it was a pleasure to go around and actually watch a bit of cricket while I was in Germany, and I met so many interesting people that were enthused about the game, and it's just all really about bringing more and more people into the cricket community and showing them that cricket isn't necessarily the game that they think it is, because a lot of people have heard of cricket, but they have a bit of an outdated idea of what it's like. The new format, especially the T10 format, is all about big hits and swinging for the fences, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we do have a ground here which is not as big as one might think. It's not the MCG. It's basically on top of that hill there, yeah. And if you do the 10-10 here, it's a lot of fun because we've got a rehabilitation clinic just next to it, and on the other side of the pitch there's people walking, and they don't have a clue what cricket is. So these balls come flying around, and people who've just spent 6 weeks in that hospital might have to stay for another 6 weeks.
Well, that's super interesting, isn't it? And look, it was great working with you in ECL last year, and I was looking forward to working with you again this year. Now, hopefully, we'll work together in ECL 21. Now, these are just a couple of shots of us having fun. Now, I loved it when you broke out the Lederhosen when the German team, SG Findorf, were playing. And we see you there, a couple of shots up in the commentary box. And geez, it was dangerous work in the commentary box, wasn't it? Because there was a couple of really close calls when the balls came flying past us. But then the main thing I noticed there is your interview with Pavel. And that was just when the story was breaking. And I know he was perhaps a little bit hesitant to speak to you because he was worried about how he was being perceived. And what sort of experience was that interviewing Pavel in that moment? And actually, Phil, before you answer, I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to get rid of the Corona patch, but I am listening. Okay, you know what?
Thank you so much.
Enough's enough. But so please tell us about ECL and what it was like.
Are you going to do wet shave or dry shave?
I'm just going to work out. I'm going to work on the fly. You worry about what you're doing. I'll worry about what I'm doing. Okay, go ahead, Phil. We're all ears. We're all ears.
I'm going to watch as you're shaving it off. What I was really concerned about is these flying balls towards our commentary box, of course. But you always said Maximo,
yeah, true.
And hence I was warned early enough to keep my head down. Now let's talk about the situation with Pavel. Basically, there was a clip of Pavel going viral. And I've actually never experienced a situation like that in my life when social media just took over. Can we see your? Is it off?
Do you want me to get a bit bigger for you? No, we're getting
please.
there. Keep going. No, we're
Okay.
multitasking here, Phil.
Well,
we can do it.
You know, I have never experienced in my life when social media goes viral and also goes cruel in a way that a person that has just come to play cricket and who enjoys playing cricket and who's just one player in Romania achieves to become a European player in the European Cricket League because he's part of the team. Now, when the situation got pretty useless for the club, the club captain says, "Come on, let's give the president a ball." And that for me was such a great situation to see a president stepping up and saying, "Hey, this is about the game. This is about a Romanian guy. I give him the ball and he can bowl an over because the game is lost anyways." Now, when that happened, this over got clipped and it got put onto Australian news. So he went viral, and even Fox News in Australia, who've done a lot of good also for the ECL, but who've also in that situation, they have misinterpreted what happened. So they have just said, okay, so this is what European cricket is all about. Well, yes, maybe it was what European cricket was all about because it was giving people a chance to do what they love and to play cricket in the way that they love to play. So then Mark Lovell, who's the social media manager at that time, comes up to me and says, "Phil, we got to turn this round. We got to help this situation." And I went up to Pavel, and Pavel was really frustrated. He was sad. People were making fun of him. Things were going into the thousands, 100,000s of people watching his over and then commenting about his bad style of bowling and that he can't bowl and that he shouldn't be on ECL and blah, blah, blah. So I went up to Pavel and said, "Hey, Pavel, let's tell your story." And we do a little interview and we put it online and let's see what happens. So when Pavel said those words, "I don't care whether you like how I play, I just love cricket," this is what changed the whole thing. And then suddenly social media went viral in the other way around. So that helped the spirit of the game a lot.
Yeah, and the way you managed that, I think I learned a lot in the way you approached that, because I suppose the way Pavel was feeling at the time, like you say, he was worried about how he's being perceived. He was worried that he'd done damage to the image of the tournament. But really, a story like Pavel is what the tournament's all about. He's a native-born Romanian, and we know so many of the players, and we definitely appreciate all they're doing for cricket in their countries. But it's one of the hardest things is getting these people that grew up with cricket to try and pass on the love of cricket and the interest in cricket to the native European population. And I think that he was definitely a rare example of that being a success and that passion that he found on his own for the game, despite only taking it up at 32 or 34 years of age. And so we certainly were pretty excited and feel, I put my hand up for getting excited at times. You can be honest with this one. What was it like commentating next to me? Because a couple of times, I mean, I was ready to jump out of the commentary box a couple of times, if you remember, and the action was just getting a bit too intense.
Well, I loved sitting beside you, and as I told you in our private conversations off camera, I wanted to basically get you on camera, get you onto the comments, because I just loved the style you brought into the ECL, and the final, you commented in such great style, and with your Maximo, you have created something unique. Nobody's ever heard Maximo before, but now everybody thinks, oh, a 6. No, not a 6. It's a Maximo. No, I loved it, and you're very. I think you're the guy who should be commenting much more international matches, because that's what it's all about. It's about the fun, and it's not only about like, oh, have you seen this pigeon walking on the pitch? It's really ridiculous, isn't it? And
hold on,
somebody's...
I love your English accent. So this is one thing about Phil. Now he speaks English very well, as you can tell, and then you always do this English accent, and it's too good. So my question is, are you really German, or are you just an English person that's pretending to be German? Be honest.
No, I'm actually German, you know, because when I started playing cricket, I did not have any skills of speaking the language, and of course, obviously, in Germany, you also get to have this accent.
Oh, you can't do.
No.
I'm going to stop you right there, Phil. Come here.
But coming back, just one thing
Sure.
about Pavel, because you're saying that he's a natural born Romanian. I must say that we now have second and third generation of like, let's say, Indian immigrants, Pakistani immigrants who came to Germany in the 60s, and they are natural born nowadays. And so it's all about picking up the sport, creating a unique society of cricketing players who mingle and who integrate so well. No other sport in Europe, I would say, has this mix of personalities, of people, of backgrounds, of ethical backgrounds, and that's what I love.
Yeah, and it is interesting, isn't it? Because of the migration trends, of course, naturally there's so many people interested in cricket that are coming into Europe, but often it's difficult for them to organise it around their work or their other responsibilities. If they have to travel a long way to get to games, or to spend money to stay away from home to play games. As you say, like the ECL has a big role in hopefully developing that and building up the game at a grassroots level. Now, Phil, normally at this point, do you know about the quiz? I know you do. It's run by a gentleman called Yannick, who is a fantastic person at the European cricket, and we organise a quiz at the website every week. Here's the details. www.ecn.cricket. It opens tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Phil, you might just want to turn around slightly because we're getting a bit of wind. I know that can be a problem after spending a bit of time with you when the wind gets involved. But if you log on to www.ecn.cricket tomorrow, anytime, Friday or Saturday, open 6 a.m. Friday, all day Saturday, and most of Sunday until 6 p.m. There's 6 questions. Now, every week we do a segment called Random Household Object, and this could be a question in the quiz. Now, normally I would ask you, Phil, to pick out a random household object, but I kind of figured that today you might not be able to, because it doesn't look like you're in house. But so I'm going to provide the random household object, okay? So this is for our viewers. Now you can win a fantastic pair of painter cricket shoes. Now this is a birthday present I got today. It's one of my favorites. So Phil, I feel like suddenly I'm the guest.
You look much better without the beard.
These are wine glasses. Okay, they're fancy wine glasses.
Fantastic.
They lean a bit as well. All right, so make sure you log on to ecn.cricket on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And if there's a question about what the random household object is, the RHO, Vinny's wine glasses. That was my birthday present for today. So they look very breakable, and I'm a little bit worried about that. And so make sure you get involved. There's all the info with the weekly quiz there. Open 6 a.m. tomorrow morning and closes 6 p.m. on Sunday night. And you did mention, and I've already forgotten it so quickly, but there you go. The Corona patch is gone.
Are
we all happy with that? Do you
Absolutely.
think so? Actually, yes. I feel a bit naked without it, really. What do you think?
How are the restrictions in Australia on pulling girls these days?
Well, it's quite restricted.
Okay. Otherwise, your chances would like go through the roof right now.
Let's just say that supply is low, demand is high on the market at the moment. But I'm sure Australia is not the only place in the world. Now, Bart, I have to say thanks for your comments in the chat today. Art3317. He was quoting some Faulty Towers. I know English. I learned it from a book. So that's
Manuel.
fantastic. Faulty Towers. What a show it is. So Phil, you can make sure you're into the quiz because you win those painter cricket shoes and they are sensational. And we've got that happening every weekend at our website, www.ecn.cricket. Don't forget also to join our Facebook page if you're not already, European Cricket League, and on YouTube, if you join ECN European Cricket Network on YouTube, we actually have highlights of all the games from last year, also the Dream 11 European Cricket Series highlights and full games are on there. And you can, even better, you can see European Cricket Studio, all the shows we've done so far, and this is the 12th show. They're all in full there, so if you want to catch up, if you want to reminisce and remember what it was like with when I had the Corona patch, you can just log on anytime to the YouTube channel, ECN European Cricket Network. Well, Phil, it's been great catching up with you in Guernsey today. What a fantastic present. It was a wonderful time when I was there.
Vinny, just to finish this one up. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vinny. Happy birthday to you.
You said you didn't want to sing and you lied to me, but I knew it. I appreciate it though, Phil. Thanks so much for coming on the show. I hope to have you again soon. Good luck with everything you're doing in TV. Doing a great job covering the coronavirus over there in Germany. Best of luck, stay safe, and catch you soon.
Bye. Say hello to all European cricketers. Bye.
See you, Phil. And wasn't it great having Phil Bächstädt on the show, my old sparring partner? And it is wonderful. So guys, make sure you get involved. Just a reminder of the weekly quiz from tomorrow morning. Okay, I've told you what the random household object was. It was the wine glasses. Okay, so you guys have a better chance than anyone if you're watching this. So make sure you log on, check out all those articles. We've also got my weekly segment there, Take 6. I've also we'll have an article up shortly about my thoughts on the qualification process for ECL 21. So to keep up to date with everything European cricket, make sure you log on to that website, www.ecn.cricket. Don't forget, next week we have more European Cricket Studio coming to you 5 p.m. each day in Central Europe. And Michael McCann will host the Monday and Wednesday shows. His guest next week, he'll be featuring Amjad Khan, who's a former Denmark and England international. He also had a very distinguished career in county cricket. And then my guest on Tuesday, and we'll be featuring in the chat on Thursday, will be Michael Leask from Scotland. So, mate, we hope to see you then, Monday to Thursday, on Instagram Live European Cricket. But for now, from all of us at the European Cricket Studio, I want to wish you good night. And until next time, keep hitting them high and handsome. Good night.